All right, folks, now we have Mark Simone, WR radio host, Deroy Murdock, senior fellow at the Herb London Center for Policy Research, Fox News contributor. Mark, I heard the Trump grand jury met for 12 minutes today.
Yeah.
Was it longer than that? Help me out here, would you please?
Well,
what's going on? You're the expert.
Bragg's case fell apart. Michael Cohen, a meaningless, terrible witness. He was discredited by Costello, so they either had to discredit Costello, which is not possible, or back up Michael Cohen. They brought in David Pecker to testify.
Oh, right.
National Enquirer boss.
Right.
Who, a close friend and associate of Donald Trump's. I can't imagine he said anything that would hurt Donald Trump. And he'd already testified in January. So I don't know what the point is. That's pretty desperate when you're bringing back a witness.
So, Deroy, Trump says it's over. He's announced that. He says the case has already been dropped. I don't know that. We may learn that momentarily. I only know what Mark Simone tells me. I don't even bother to read the newspapers anymore. But I want to say one thing. As much they never had a case for Trump. Even Andrew Cuomo was on the radio with John Catsimatidis, WABC Radio, saying it's totally political. It should never have happened. Andrew Cuomo, in fact, shall we say, retired governor of New York, thinks that was a good one. Thinks that this Georgia election case has no merit as well. But, and I love Trump, but does he have to have a baseball bat picture next to Alvin Bragg and talk about death and destruction? Really, that was inappropriate. Yeah. He's right. This case is nonsense. I want to be, but does he have to go like over that line? It's just kind of sometimes.
No, I don't think that was necessary. That wasn't helpful. And look, you can just talk about this case and its merits. I wrote a piece that just has come out now called the case, the anti-hush money case against Trump has more holes in it than the Doral golf course. Among many others, the statute of limitations on the three aspects brought up by the FEC. The first two expired last December 22nd, and the third part has not yet expired, expires in a couple of weeks. But on that charge, the FEC asked that charge be dismissed. So, and those are just three holes right there. Many, many others. So I think.
Well, I don't think. I mean, just judging from what Costello said, and Robert Costello, the lawyer, who was Michael Cohen's lawyer, Michael Cohen, a convicted perjurer, Trump did not make any payments. Trump did not direct any payments. In fact, Stormy Daniels keeps writing new letters saying they never had an affair. So I didn't even know what this is about. That's why we don't have to bring out the baseball bats. Okay, enough on that. Mark Simone, I want to ask you about another thing. Polls, I know there are polls and lots of polls, and Trump's been doing very well in the national polls, but Governor DeSantis leads Trump by 8 points in Iowa, 45-37, and he's tied with Trump 39-39 in New Hampshire, those being the first two contests. What you make of that?
Well, I never trust a university poll. I don't trust even the media polls. If it's a serious internal poll, I'll trust it. And they're not even calling this a poll. They're calling it a survey. And it was reported by Axios, which gives me a huge question mark.
That's not the worst. Okay, I'll let that one slide. It's all right. I got nothing against him. I'm just saying, though, Trump's never done. He lost Iowa the last time. Well, I'm sorry, he lost Iowa the first time, and then did come back and win New Hampshire convincingly. And that was all. What do you think, Deroy? What does it show, in your opinion? And I know there's a certain pro-Trump element on this set, but I want to be fair and balanced as I can. Does Trump really have the national lead that these polls are showing?
I think he does have a lead. He has a lot of affection among the GOP base. But look, the fact is Ron DeSantis is a very effective governor, maybe the most effective governor in the country. You can point to very, very specific things he's done on education, on fighting CRT and everything else. He gets into these battles with the left and he comes out on top. And people in the GOP voters like that sort of thing. Some of them like that more than they may like Trump. So I think this is going to be a tug of war between these two. And Ron DeSantis will be able to point to his record as in Florida, and Donald J. Trump will be able to point to, I think, his very effective record in the White House, largely thanks to people like you around him. And those are very positive things he did, and he'll be able to run on them.
I like that attitude. Look, the more the merrier. Let the best person win the race. You're going to have to go out. Everyone's going to have to prove each other. I'm going to give you the last word on that point. I know polls are just polls. They're just tracking behavior yesterday or the day before. But
DeSantis, he's clearly a great governor. He has no foreign policy experience. He screwed up on Ukraine. He had to backtrack and flip-flop. 4 days later on that statement. And he's not the best debater in the world, not the most fiery speaker. You wouldn't want an hour and a half of him ad-libbing.
Other than that, you love him.
He's a great governor. But
he is a good governor.
His timing is bad. He's too young. He's early 40s. Wait 4 years. He's 42. Wait 4 years.
What did Reagan say? I will never make fun of my opponent's relative youth and inexperience.
Yeah, that's
he said
right.
that to Mondale.
Destroyed
I'm
Mondale
gonna
with
pull
that.
that out. Mark Simone, Deroy Murdock. Listen, the grand jury gets off. I bet they're very happy too.